Hello, Stephanie Zima here, My Way of Life Coaching, and I help network marketers, online entrepreneurs to get off this roller coaster of emotions, doubt, fear, all the things that are holding you back onto a solid foundation of winning habits, mindset, and support. Okay, having said that, Black Friday is around the corner and you are probably super excited. You're probably saying, this is the year that I am going to be able to make this happen. And then this little thing called self-doubt is going to creep in and stealing all the thunder from you, right? Am I right? Or am I the only one that happened to? So if that is you, paralyzing fear is what often is at the culprit, so to speak, of it all, right? We doubt ourselves because we are starting to realize or have a sense. Sometimes it's not even a conscious realization. Sometimes it's just literally having the sense that we may not be able to handle what we are going to start kicking off. So for me, it was always I'm coming in hot and heavy and I would like do all these reach outs. And then halfway through these reach outs, I would realize like, oh my gosh, if all these people are going to buy from me, how would I handle it? How would I even do this? And I would start feeling so stressed because I thought I'm already maxed out with my children, with my job, with everything that I've got going on, the household. Like I was maxed out mentally. Okay, all these tabs were open, all the mental load that we mothers often have was just over and all consuming. And I thought to myself, man, if I'm going to get all these sales, it's going to get very scary. I don't have time for all of that, even though I wanted it. And even though logically I thought to myself, yeah, I could possibly hire a cleaning lady to do all the cleaning so I would have more time to do this. I just couldn't see this happening because when you have a cleaning lady, it could possibly, depending on what is in your paradigm, also mean that your mother-in-law is going to judge you for not being a great housewife, or your husband even judging you for not doing what he thinks is going to be your job. I mean, there's a gazillion different reasons as to why and how much guilt and shame can come with just the simple wanting to have some success with your business. Okay. So when you feel those things, you will sabotage yourself. The doubt will creep in. You will think like, oh my gosh, this is just way too much work. I won't have the time, or, maybe you have different things. Everyone is different. Everyone has a little bit of a different spin to it. And that is why it's tricky sometimes to get so many people moved along. Like if you are a leader in your team, for example, you start realizing that everyone on your team also is dealing with a little bit of different issues, a little bit of different topics and challenges. And some need to be motivated one way and some need to be motivated another way. But let me clarify this down to you. Every single time somebody has a doubt, it's because a thought is there, some kind of thought. So the doubt creeps in. The thought that triggered the doubt would be, I don't have time, I don't have capacity, right? So for you, what's really important is when you start doubting, to identify what is the key thought that you're having that is needing to be addressed, right? If you don't go to the root cause of your issues, of your challenges, you will never overcome them. You will stay in this downward spiral spin of getting excited and then letting the doubt, aka the thought, basically deter you from what you're needing to do. Okay. So here's some tips that can help you actually getting to the bottom of it, because often these things are really not conscious, right? That's why coaches and mentors are actually helping people to get to it. We are watching and guiding you, and we are like walking the walk with you, right? We're walking. That's why I say walk it free. The it being, what is it for you? What is it that is holding you back? What is it that is basically in the way, right? What is the obstacle for you? Because everyone is different. So I walk my clients through those things in the course of the program so that we can then eliminate it, right? That's the thing. But for you now to get started already, because some people are not willing or able to do coaching or mentorship at this moment. So here's some tips for you that you can actually already start working today that may help you identify these thoughts a lot better. Okay, so step number one is clean up your environment. If you have a cluttered workstation, if you have a cluttered house, if you have a cluttered anything, this is how cluttered your mind is going to be. Okay, and this is a tip not just for online entrepreneurs, this is a tip for anyone and everything. If you want to get to do something, you have to have a clean environment that is clutter free. And I get it right now. I mean, we are in the transition of moving toys out of the house and transitioning into like a more of a teenage household, right? When I had toddlers, clearly I had a lot more toys than I am now. So now I'm in the transition. I cannot have every section of the house be clutter free because I still have a lot of stuff. So what I did is I started moving the clutter, so to speak, into one specific area of the house. And right now, most of this is in my basement. I moved it down in the basement until I have time to go through it and figure out what is going to be donated, what is going to be tossed, what is going to be garage sale, but to get it out of my environment, because you cannot think if you have a cluttered environment, okay? And yes, I hear you. I know exactly what you're saying. It is a little bit of an uphill battle, especially when you have kids, to get them to help you with it. Okay. But trust me, the more you are the leader of your pack, the more you are leading on these actions, the more they will follow and they will help you. I always say things like many hands do little work, right? And a lot of work gets done faster with many hands. Or can you have some helping hands, please? And when I thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, I'm asking them a lot, like this guilt and shame often creeps in, especially when you are a working mom. But you have to understand, if I'm asking my kids for help, it will also give them permission later down the road to ask their family for help. And isn't that what we want, right? Isn't that what we need? We need them to also hear and ask for help if that's what they want, because it's a burden. If you have to do everything by yourself, it's too much. One person can't do it all. That's why there's no I in team, right? You have to become a team with your family. So clean up your environment, get it as clutter-free as you possibly can, okay? Within the limits, of course. All right, next step would be to stare your fears right in the eye, okay? Many of you know what your fear is. My fear was like, I'm not able to handle it all. I am not able to handle it all. It's too much. I'm going to have, part of me wants to have thousands and thousands of people listening to me. But then at the same time, I would always stop myself because I was like, what if I cannot be enough? What if I cannot help those people enough? Okay. What if I don't have any more resources and time? I'm already minimized with all the moments that I have like planned through, right? That was a scarcity mindset for me. That was something that I thought like, ooh, I can't help those people. I cannot help everybody. But here's how I combated it for myself. I said, okay, how could I? Right? There's a difference between I cannot to how could I? And then I asked my brain and I said, hey, what could I do? Like if I really would want to help so many people, what could I do? And here's the thing. Social media, Reels, for example, is a beautiful thing because you know what? Thousands of people could watch those tips. Thousands of people, millions of people can watch YouTube videos, right? And can be helped with a few steps and few tips and tricks that I'm giving. So, creating content will leave me or get me maybe working for a few hours a week, but it can help so many people. So I started realizing that I didn't have to be fearful of spreading my knowledge. I didn't have to be fearful of letting people be part of my journey just because I have resources that can allow me a capacity that only God knows, right, where it can go. So I just committed myself to speaking out and being here and sharing knowledge, and that's what I'm doing. So depending on what your business is like, if you want to just go out and start spreading the word, start doing the things, right? Being you, start realizing and become curious about how could that look like for you, whatever it is that you are going to serve. Figure out how could it look like if you would serve a lot of people. Maybe you can do one Zoom call, a team training, right? Maybe you can have one event where you open it up to multiple people. Maybe you can have an onboarding Google sheet that, you are with a video. Maybe you don't have time to train every new one that bought your products, but maybe you can make a video that you then can send via social media. There's a lot of different things that you could be doing that will serve the masses. But regardless of what your fear is, maybe you have the fear of abandonment, or, maybe rejection, right? Rejection is probably most often the case, rejection and failure. Maybe rejection. Let's talk about rejection. So if you have the fear of rejection, for every 10 people that reject you, what would it feel like if one person would actually be super helped and then take whatever it is that you shared with them and made an impact around themselves, right? Wouldn't it be worth it to be rejected by those other 10 people, right? I'm always thinking about this. Maybe it would be worth it. So having said that, you have to stare those fears straight in the eye and really just take them head on, talk about them, be curious about what the flip side would look like, okay? All right, step number 3 is to develop your daily mode of operations. Okay, when I say yours, it has to fit for you. I've, in my early days, asked people, like, what should I do? How should I recruit? How should I do all these things? And people would never be able to give me an answer. And it drove me nuts. I thought to myself, like, why would nobody be able to tell me what to do? And I'm going to tell you what to do because it drove me nuts that nobody could tell me what to do. Here's what I suggest. You sit down and ask yourself, how can I where could I make time to fill my funnel? When in the day can I make connections to fill my sales funnel? When can I follow up with those people? When can I reach out to people? What will I do with those prospects afterwards? Really ask yourself those questions. Look at your day. Look when your kids are getting up. Look at when you are going to work. Look at where are the moments, and then split it up. Okay. If you are not working this full time, you need to work in your nooks and crannies. And the problem with the nooks and crannies is that we are losing focus. That's just what it is. You start something and you think you've done the work, but 10 minutes later you stared at the reels and you haven't reached out to anybody, and you are simply not getting the numbers. So you need to learn how to focus. You need to learn how to use those 10 minutes, your 15 minutes, whatever time you have in these time blocks, and really focus on only the one thing. So if you say, let's say, you're filling your funnel in the mornings, right? You wake up, you have a cup of coffee, you take your phone, and you're looking for people that you possibly can connect with. Those people, put your coffee cup down there and say, 15 minutes, I'm only going to look at people. Put the do not disturb on your phone so you are not getting disturbed by people sending you messages or anything like that, and keep your focus for those 15 minutes only on finding people for your funnel, connecting with them. Do the same thing for your follow-up. Set a timer and only focus on the 15 minutes of the follow-up. Only do that, nothing else. I tell you, I promise you, you will start making progress in your business. You will see that it will help you a lot. It will help you a lot, but it's important to have hold the focus. So if 15 minutes is too long for you in the beginning, maybe do only 5 minutes. Okay. But I tell you one thing, if for 5 minutes you are focusing on who you had reached out to the few days before and who you are needing to engage with right now, you are going to make so much more working in those 5 minutes than if you would have gone onto your phone and started scrolling because you got distracted by those reels. And I tell you, do not feel guilty if you do. It's just a skill that you have to learn to tune out the other distractions and go for what you need to be doing. And you cannot know what to be doing unless you have a very, very clear daily mode of operations that is workable for you. Okay. So when will you make connections? When will you follow up? When will you reach out? And how are you going to get your prospects started? I think those 4 things is what you can get started with to get really, really clear, that will move your needle forward, and be with that. So I really hope that this was good for you, value for you, that it helped you. If it has helped you with something, please let me know in the comments. I would love to have some feedback. I would love to have some conversation with you. If you have any questions, by all means, drop me a note down in the comments, or even hop onto my free consultation. There is a 15-minute consultation that you can book. And I mean, when they're gone, they're gone. But if you go onto the calendar and take a look and see if there's a free coaching available in the time, please, by all means, hop on the calendar, get onto my calendar, and let's talk about your questions. I am here to help you. I have suffered so many years in the cold market trying to develop those skills. I have paid so much money in mentorship, and I know not everyone can afford mentorship right now, even though it's really worth it. But I know not everybody can afford it right now. So whatever I can do for free, I would love to help you, especially this season, because I want you to win. Okay. I want you to win, and communicating with me, letting me know questions, so I can create maybe free content for you. I would love that, and I would do that for you. Okay. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Happy hustle.